Good morning, everyone, and special thanks to World Athletics and Mass Participation World to have me here. I think this is such a wonderful opportunity, and the last 24 or so hours have been so enriching for all of us. And yes, it's good to meet in person. So who are we? We are the pioneers, like Chris mentioned, of distance running in India. It's less than 20 years story. I go back to 2004 when the first Standard Chartered Mumbai Marathon happened, and running was an unknown sport in India. We had something like 25,000 runners registered for about 2 odd events that we had in India. And from there we've come a pretty long way. Procam, our company, has 4 labeled events, 3 of them gold. This is a very poignant picture from the running scenario in India. That is Anil Ambani. At one time, he was ranked in the top 10 richest people in the world. And this actually, as we all know, encapsulates a lot of what our running story is. Here he's seen helping somebody, just a local street kid, across the finish line when she was faltering. In the middle of your picture there is Angad Dugal, who is a boy who has multiple physical disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and the first time he took steps actually out of his wheelchair was at the Mumbai Marathon. It was an amazing moment, and it actually resonated all across the country. Champions with disability, you see that every day in all our events. We're nothing new to it. But as a pillar of social impact, we tied up with a wonderful organization in India called Adventures Beyond Barriers. And we created a segment where CEOs could run with people with physical disabilities. We did that over a 10K distance, which required a certain amount of training and running together by the CEO and the person with physical disability. Happy to inform that that interaction resulted in over 100 jobs for those people with physical disabilities. Just the fact that they could train together with a CEO has resulted in them getting a job. And that's what we do through the Mumbai Marathon, through the Tata Mumbai Marathon. We try and create social impact like I'm sure all of you do at every opportunity. 2.5 million active runners today. These are figures done by research. Each one has an impact, an immediate social impact of about 4 people, so that's 10 million. And there's a circle of influence of another 22.5 million people in your colleagues and friends and family. So today, running alone in India is 35 million people when it comes to social impact. It's a large country. There are many larger events. But the loyalty that these 35 million people bring to our sponsors, to the products and services of our sponsors, is second to none. And we must remember that it's not just about numbers. It's not a numbers game. Participative sport can never be a numbers game. Spectator sport will always outbeat us in that paradigm. But it's the sheer quality of people that we bring in, the sheer quality of engagement that we bring in, the sheer emotional equity that we bring in through our running events is what sponsors pay money for. And that's one area where our company, Procam, has been quite prolific in finding and retaining some of the world's best sponsors. When we started this revolution in 2003, it was never about having an event and putting it on the road. It was about seeding a movement. And that movement, we planted 5 seeds into the ground. It should be a boost to Indian athletics. It should bring international pride and prestige to the host city, philanthropy, communal harmony, health, and fitness. And we planted these 5 seeds into the ground to ensure that something that we were building would have a legacy that would last much more than what we could ever do. And by the grace of God, that's happened. Today, 900 NGOs have been impacted. $50 million raised for philanthropy, making the running events, and these are Procam events. The numbers that I have are Procam numbers. There would be a few million more, making it the largest sporting philanthropy platform in India is distance running. Not cricket, not football, not hockey, which are much bigger sports in India, but it's distance running, which is the largest philanthropy platform. Zero to landfill, 3 run clubs in 2004 to 748 run clubs today and growing. 2-time distance running events to 1,579 distance running events, and 700 new runners lacing up to run each day. What have we found in terms of social impact? We found there's a tremendous amount of civic apathy in India. And we found that, people are just happy to, a lot of people, it's tough. Life in India is tough for most people. So just getting through their day is good enough for them. But we found a special quality in runners. And the more that people took to running, the more they took to actually raising issues about the social and civic issues around them. And this is something that we want to nurture even more, the power of the collective, to showcase a runner as an agent of change. Runners can easily become incentivized and take responsibility for surrounding issues, initiating positive social change. Today, we find less than 5% of runners are running for charity. What does it mean if 25% of the running base starts running for a cause? A handful of events have charity as a pillar. Can you imagine if $50 million could be raised by just 4 events? And in the most democratic, transparent way, we do not decide the cause. The runner decides the cause that he or she wants to run for. What will it mean if that figure multiplies, which it is set to do? Democratization, creation, and participation. We want people to be able to create micro events, whether it's someone's birthday, whether it's a celebration. We want to build in architecture. We're already in the process of doing this, to build a technology-led architecture that can enable anyone to create a micro event rather than just having a dinner to celebrate or having a get-together. Can we not get together like we did this morning and run and have a celebration at the end of it? It's possible through technology. Today, if you tell a person outside our world, why don't you have a running event? He doesn't even know where to start in India, at least. So we're talking about social transformation where anybody with a few simple clicks can create their own running event for their micro ecosystem. It's called a plug-and-play architecture. And we know that our running group is more than just a running group of friends. It becomes our go-to support group for anything. Park runs, you heard from Tom Williams, absolutely the way forward. And it's technology that's going to help us do this, nothing else. Youth, we find this segment of 16 to 21 not coming into running. They get wavered in many ways. How do we reach at them? Is there a way of making our running events cool? Is there a way of making them key opinion leaders and playing on that aspect whereby they can become a voice for their micro community, for their college, for their school? I think this aspect of motivating the youth to engage in positive social activism, leading to a sense of responsibility and ownership, will create a paradigm shift in society. And we cannot spend enough time or enough dollars on thinking through this even more. Where are we today? We're 100 million health-conscious individuals. This is not just a number. The Red Seer report has it broken down. 100 million people have downloaded an app on their phones for whatever reason, whether they've used it once or they use it every day. There are 100 million people in India alone that are health conscious. We have further segregated that community. There's 9 million motivated movers, 20 million who are budding children under 15 years who follow preventive health practices due to health conscious parents. You have 55 million concerned change makers, all age groups passively concerned about health and want to change that. And 16 million active youth in 20s and 30s, highly conscious of physique, looks, and social image. We have 100 million. We are projected to get to 130 million health-conscious individuals in just the next 2 or 3 years. Social impact, again, covers green. Our events are green by their very nature. I believe that. We take cars off the road. We put people on the road. But more than that, I feel they are an ideal platform to promote the message of conscious, sustainable consumption. You know, adoption, why are runners why do we say that each runner has an influence community of about 14 people around him? Because this is true micro-influencing. You want to know what the person who runs your 10K, 21K, or 42K eats, drinks, sleeps. You want to know that. So if a runner, and if through our running events, they can follow sustainable green practices, you will create something which is magical. People will start adopting these practices into their lives. And I believe you cannot preach to people. We have all realized that preaching to people has limited effect. But if they see change around them, if they see inspiration around them, people change. And I believe runners can be the single largest drivers of environmental goals just by what they do, just by the choices they make. Are we just about esoteric stuff and health and fitness? Are we talking real numbers? Today, the industry size in India is $400 million annually. And that's a sizable number for a sport that didn't exist 18 years ago. Interesting aspect to this, on the right of your screen, about $50 million is just pure sponsorship play. And don't forget, there's cricket in India, there's soccer in India, there's hockey in India, there's tennis in India in a big way, but running is gathering anywhere between 50 to 60 million in sponsorship, which I think is a sizable figure for where we are as an industry. This $400 million ecosystem is with 2.5 million active registered runner base. What happens when this runner base gets to 25 million active runners? Are we potentially looking at a $5 billion industry in India on distance running? Because if that were to happen, it would change the entire color. You would become a formal industry with finance sector coming into, with banks coming in to fund you for your further goals, with formal investments coming in. And I think that's achievable in the next 5 to 10 years, to become 25 million active runners strong and become a $5 billion industry in India alone. And I'm sure the same economics applies to each and every one of you from whichever part of the world you are. This is our motto. This is the Procam vision. We're here to make people happier through an active and engaged lifestyle. What does that mean? It means more fulfilled lives with greater density of experiences. Facilitate any activity that brings them joy. And we've seen this. In fact, we use this as our hashtag for the Tata Mumbai Marathon, an inclination to be better through interaction with other people, ideas that can inspire. And this is very simple. This is the motto that Procam wants to work towards and live up to, just to make people happier through an active and engaged lifestyle. And to sum it up, my last slide, and I don't think anybody could have said it better in my books than Dean Karnazes. And he said the simple thing, he said, towing the start line of a marathon, regardless of the language you speak, the God you worship, or the color of your skin, we all stand as equal. Perhaps the world would be a better place if more people ran. And I think that's something that we can all agree to. The world would surely be a better place if more people ran. Thank you so much for your time. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer as best as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. I think we're dead on lunch, and we've got a tight time frame because of the Prime Minister coming, but I think everybody can recognize you in the crowd in the lunch break.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, inspiring stuff there. The picture of the 10th richest man in the world. I didn't get to write down his name, helping a street kid over the line. Some of those statistics you put up there, incredible. The jobs created from that. Amazing stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to the journey ahead.
Thank you.
Let's hear it again, please, for Vivek Singh. Thank you.